everybody! Today's video is going to be a mommy series for you guys. I'm not sure how many videos I'm going to do, but it's for the first time moms. The things that are known and unknown and are surprises about being a first time mom. If you're new here, I'm a mom of 5 right now, soon to be 6, and I've done this before. And they're all my kids are 5 and under. So I am still in the thick of babies and the beginning stages, so I feel like I have a lot of good tips and tricks and advice and warning and all that stuff that I feel like first time moms need to know and should know, because I wish I would have known some things would have made birth and having a new baby a little bit easier. So let's get right into it. So I want to talk about before birth and what doctors might say to you to get you to be induced. A lot of doctors want you to be induced. In my opinion, it's to keep a schedule. There are emergency cases, which I understand, but to me those are very small. Like I can't think of anything that in my mind you'd have to be induced for that you would need a C-section more. You know what I mean? Like if your baby's heart rate's dropping, I feel like a C-section would happen way faster than an induction. But people, you know, doctors truly believe that inductions save lives, and they probably do. I just feel like they do it way more than they ought to, in my opinion. I'm not judging. You wanna get induced? Go for it, girl. But for me, I've heard horror stories about induction, and I definitely do not want it. I've never been induced. The farthest I've ever gone in my pregnancies is 42 weeks and I think a day. I was my first baby. I was 42 weeks, and my doctor tried everything in her arsenal to get me to be induced, saying my placenta's gonna explode, saying my baby's gonna die, saying that there's low amniotic fluid, just everything she could possibly do to get me to have this baby sooner. And I was a hard no. I really wanted to do this naturally. I believed in my body, and I didn't believe in drugs. And I don't know what, you know, if these drugs have side effects on babies, like through their life. I just wanted to keep it clean as possible. If you want a natural birth, know that your doctor's probably gonna scare the GBs out of you to get you to get induced, and to try to know within your soul and your heart and everything that your body's made to do this, and it's gonna happen. You're not gonna be pregnant forever. So my next thing that I wish I would have known more is that I could speak up. I could say what I wanted. I had a say. And yes, I do have a say in like being induced, but when I was in the hospital in labor, I felt like I had zero control. Like if I didn't want the monitors on my belly, I could say I don't want them on my belly. If I wanted to get up from the bed, I could do that. But when I remember my first baby, I felt very controlled by the nurses and the doctors, and I just kind of, my kids, I'm sorry. I felt very controlled by them, and I felt like I was kind of a prisoner of what they wanted me to do in that sense. I definitely needed a better mindset on that. I had more say in how I wanted to deliver this baby. Like I should have said in my first labor, I do not want you to do this to my lady bits for 3 hours because it hurts really bad. I didn't say that, and I regret that because I was in pain for, I mean, forever down there until I had my second child, until it fixed itself. I swear, if I didn't have my second child, I would still be in pain in my lady area. So again, remember, you have every right to say what you want. If you say, don't touch me, don't, just say it. I remember with the twins, I was hemorrhaging. I was in such a bad state. They were pushing on my belly, getting my uterus to contract, and I said, don't touch me. I was screaming and crying, and they stopped, and they said, I'll give you 5 minutes, and then they come back and do it, and then 3 doctors came in saying, we have to do these things, and I'm like, I was in agony, but I got what I wanted, and they listened. But you might have to be, you know, right on the money and say, no, it's not what I want, or yes, this is what I want, and this is my labor. I'm paying the bill here, so do what I want. I know it sounds crazy. Prepare your spouse, prepare your significant other to speak up for you when you're contracting, because again, you might not feel like you can because you're in the thick of labor, but maybe if you have somebody behind you to say, hey, what's happening? I don't like this. This is not what she wants. It would help. And I remember as I've had children, my husband, he speaks up for me now, or my mother will speak up for me now, because I said, this is what I want, please, like, speak up for me. Another thing that happened to me in my first pregnancy, my first labor, is that when I went into the hospital in the middle of the night, I was contracting and I was, you know, in good spirits. I was talking, but I was contracting and I had to stop and breathe through them. But I remember I was getting my gown on, they were gonna check me, and they said to me, the nurses, there's no way you're in labor because you're talking. And let me tell you something, I was handling labor pretty good at that point. But when they said that to me, that put me in a mindset that I have to show them that I'm in pain to have a baby. And that really was upsetting to me, like, now that I think about it, because maybe I didn't have to be in such a horrible state of mind when I was going through labor because of those women. I gave them so much power over me when that happened. So remember that you can be in labor and not have to be screaming through it. And I can't say at the end of labor you're not going to be, you know, grunting and screaming or whatever, but in the beginning of labor you can talk, and even in transition you can talk. I can remember even with Posey, at the end when I have my breaks, I would talk, and even through the contractions I would be able to talk a little bit. It is possible, but those women made me feel like I had to show them that I was dying to be in labor, and it's a shame. So remember that if someone says that to you, you go, I know me, and this is happening, and they're wrong. And then just give it up. Just say, I'm gonna stay here, you're gonna find out, and I'm having this baby. So another thing I wanted to talk about is that when I was in labor with Harrison, I was a mess at the end of labor, and I was screaming for any medicine, and they gave me Nubane. And I know they had, I think, Demerol, the option for another type of medicine other than epidural. They said I couldn't have an epidural. I don't know why. I'll never know why. But let me tell you something, ladies. Demerol doesn't work. It makes you incapacitated. It makes you not be able to speak or show signs of pain, but you are in agony. You feel everything, but your body is limp. You're exhausted. It makes you so tired that you can't get up. I highly recommend not getting anything other than an epidural if you want an epidural. It makes the labor so much worse, because I feel like verbalizing you're upset, verbalizing you're communicating is better than just keeping it all in your head and feeling like no one understands what's going on. I know my mom had Demerol when she had my brother, and she said the same thing happened to her. I don't know if there's any other drugs out there right now. Maybe you guys can comment down below if you know of any other pain medicine that you've been given that helped other than an epidural, but the ones that I know of did not help and made labor worse in my opinion. So again, if you're going for pain relief, my recommendation is just an epidural. Don't mess with the other things. In my mind, it just made it so much worse. With Posey, my last child I had, I went almost 42 weeks, and they made me do an ultrasound, and I had low amniotic fluid. They wanted me to be induced right away, and I was losing my mind because I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I did not want to be induced. And I was freaking out. And so me and my mom, we Googled it. And I know Google, like, doctors don't do it, but Google said that low amniotic fluid is normal right before you go into labor. And sure as baloney, like 15 hours later, I went into labor. So again, if your doctor is saying something that doesn't make sense or is freaking you out, Google it. I know that people say you're not supposed to. You know what's right for you. You need all the information. And I truly believe that doctors don't give you all the information because they want to be in control of the situation, because they're afraid something bad's gonna happen. And I get that. But again, if you're going for a natural birth and you're going for whatever you want in your labor, you have the control, you have the power, you have the devices that can help you make your decisions. If I didn't have this, I don't know, I wouldn't have gotten induced. But I would have been scared to death that the whole time until I went into labor that she was gonna die. So that Google gave me some serious peace. I could go to sleep that night, and then I went into labor and everything was, you know, peachy. Another thing that doctors have scared me about was meconium. I've had 2 children that were covered in meconium at birth, Harrison and Posey. I was told that it was very dangerous and they could die, and I know that there is a case if they inhale it or ingest it, there is cases that babies have died or been really sick. But my 2 children who were coated in it were fine. So remember that if you see your child covered in meconium, it's not something to freak out about. And to my mother and my husband said they watched the pediatrician and just watch their faces and you'll know if everything's okay. But to not panic if you see that or hear that. Another thing that I was not told about labor and delivery is that there's going to be a lot of blood, like murder scene kind of blood. At least with me, I have not. I don't know, maybe I'm the only one, I doubt it, but there's blood everywhere. My husband has told me, my mother has told me, it was like a murder, like there's just blood everywhere. So to prepare yourself, there's gonna be blood and it's gonna be everywhere. And I just wanted to let y'all know that. So another thing that I did not know about labor, delivery, hospitals is that know what hospital you're gonna have your baby in, of course, and know if it's a student hospital, because student hospitals, there's students there that want to learn. And with Posey, which we didn't show on the birth vlog because we just didn't show it, we had to have had in the room at the birth point 20 people watching her being born. And when I agreed to having someone watch, I had no idea that that was gonna happen. I highly recommend saying no, because one, you don't know if anything bad's gonna happen. You don't know what's going on, especially if it's your first child. You just don't want any other people in the room but you, your spouse, your parents, whoever you want, the doctors, nurses, but you don't want standbyers. I don't know why. I just didn't think there would be 20 different people watching me push out a baby. Ask your doctor if your hospital is a student teaching hospital, and if you're okay with that, think about it. Do you want strangers in there watching, you know, a baby come out of your hoo-ha? I didn't want that. The last thing I want to talk to you about is afterbirth, really quick. Afterbirth is crazy. My first one, I thought I would never walk again. I thought that I would never be able to pee again or poop again or ever be normal again. So know that feeling. If you're feeling that feeling, that is normal. You will you will walk again, you'll poop again, you will feel normal again, but it might take a long time, especially if it's really painful, and mine was very, very painful. The first one, the aftermath. I had stitches and all that jazz. Another thing is with my hospital, which I think is normal for all hospitals, is that they don't want you to go to the bathroom without a nurse with you, which is understandable because you can barely walk. But know that they're gonna help you undress, they are gonna help you pee, they're gonna help you all down there. They're gonna have like this like numbing spray, they're gonna spray with you, they're gonna have a water bottle thing that squirts water because they don't want you to wipe, because your lady bits are gonna be swollen, and it's very swollen down there, and it's a hot mess for a while. But know that the first two, you know, bathrooms, you're gonna have somebody with you. I remember my first one, the nurses would be like, do you have to pee yet? And I'm like, no. Even though I had to pee, I was so afraid to pee. I held it in as long as I humanly possibly could. As my last child, I kind of went to the bathroom before I should have, but I wanted it to be a good thing because I really wanted to get back on my feet as soon as possible. And I wanted to get it out of the way with the nurses, because my last one, I was not a mess down there. So that is it for this video. That's the kind of tips, tricks, surprises, known, unknown things, or things that just happened to me that maybe will help you guys. If you guys have any other ideas for videos, for first-time mom videos, please put them in the comments below. I'm gonna be doing several of these, probably sleep training, sleeping, bringing home a baby, what it's like, all that stuff the first time, just to give you guys some idea of what it's like to be a first-time mom, because it's a very scary, crazy, magical experience. So that is it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. Thumb the video up for us. We'd super appreciate it. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter if you'd like, and we will see you next time. Don't forget, you guys are wonderful. Bye. Bye.